Hello, I'm gonna show you how to do ropes in Maya for animation. Thing I recommend you always is to research about the things that you want to do because it made this tutorial be relevant for you for a few years. But after a few years, they may create something different that's gonna make your life easier and that will change everything. Yeah. So first thing you want to know is understanding what is the purpose of you character or prop modeling, right? In this case, basically we're creating a character that has to be ready for animation, and the more important in animation is to have a clean mesh and a nice edge loop so everything deforms properly. ZBrush is really nice to create a good amount of details, and also now it's getting better for hard surface modeling as well, but it's best for a sculpting. Yeah, so everything that you're doing here, you need to understand the basics to keep your workflow clean and make sure the final piece is ready for animation. What I'm using this thing, in my case, I'm using this just to add some extra detail on my characters. I don't work the fully workflow in here. I just play around with Maya and play around with ZBrush. If I have something more complicated, I try to find different softwares, right? This is not just one tool work, right? This is the first thing, because in here you have multiple ways to go, but you will find a lot of limitations, especially when it's for animation. And you need to understand properly so you don't destroy nothing of your characters to keep it clean for animation. Otherwise, you will end up with more work. You need to create a topology, you need to bake your texture, you need to do more stuff. Yeah, I recommend you explore always ways to do things. Yeah, in this case, it's easy to do some ropes in here. It's gonna be more simple and then ready for animation. Okay, in my case, I'm gonna use a content browser file. Let's just bring some character. I don't mind all of them. They will work the same for the purpose, and doesn't matter if it's different of your character. Just try to bring your character in here, and you can use as well the same tools. Okay, just select the object. You can see I display my keys in here. You can check what I'm clicking all the time. Make sure it's selected. We make it magnetic with this. Now you can see is the basic head is live, and now we can draw some points using a curve tool around, and we're gonna create a curve really easily. Okay, now we go to create curve tools, and let's use EP curve tool. You can use another things, but I want to keep it simple. In this case, I want to use that. You can use the pencil as well. There are multiple ways to go. Pencil is super good as well, but let's keep it simple. I'm gonna create a rope around the neck, and I'm gonna go clicking dots around the neck. Just make sure those dots have some spacing, yeah, and clean, yeah. What I mean with that, if I bring the wireframe, you can see that I'm overlapping. What you don't want to do is just this, right? Here and then here. You can see it has kind of weird shape. Yeah, keep it clean. So even spacing, just clicking around, making sure follows the direction that you want, and you don't need to connect it. Click the last, and you can see I don't have any weird shape of the curve. Right now, press Q to exit. Now we have this curve created around the neck. Okay, now let's make this head. Let's remove the magnet and let's hide with H. Now we have the curve. Select the curve, right click, control vertex, and you can see some dots. So basically those are the the knots of my curve, so I can move them and adjust the curve around. You can do that at this point. That's super helpful. Yeah, And then another thing that I like to do, just select those objects and I want to distribute those bad knobs. I'm gonna make some nice evenly spread of those nodes and bring even more to have like more soft curve around the character. Okay, we select the curve, we go to curves, we go to reveal, open the settings of reveal, we make sure you can do this edit reset settings so we are in the same page. Uniform, that's something that you want. And then we go how many number of spans are the nodes around, right? In this case, we're going to increase them. I make a test before and 100 was well, but that depends of the length of your rope. If your rope is longer than this one, you can add more. If it's shorter, you can add less. What I recommend is to have just even in spaces and you have a clean shape, right? It doesn't apply. So now when I do right click, control vertex, you can see I have 100 spans around, and then all of them there will be even between them. So the space is even between them. Yeah, that will have for like the next tool that we're gonna use. Okay, you can close this one, select this curve again, then we go to create, and then we have this tool that we're gonna use, sweep mesh. We open the settings, apply and close, and you can see it creates a mesh around following that curve we created. Then we can just bring the head again, select it and press H, make it visible. And now you can see I'm just changing the shader. Yeah, shaded view, smooth shader all. Okay, now you can see the curve that we created. Now obviously we need to adjust the scale, making sure is the thickness that you want, making sure it's not inside the mesh. Yeah, things that we need to do is select the sweep mesh in outliner. Yeah, the outliner is this icon here, so you can bring it on and off as well. Yeah, and then we need to go to the sweep mesh creator. In here we have the settings of the tool that we use. We can just bring more subdivisions. You can see 8 sides is more than enough for a circle. If it was a super big circle, so probably more, but in this case 8. I recommend you to keep it at 8 for all the characters, more than enough. Yeah. Another thing that we're gonna do is aligned, so making sure it's not inside, right? This doesn't go inside the character. So we can do right, works for me. You can see moves out a little bit. We keep it in the center, that works. And then the scale profile. Scale profile, change the thickness of the rope. I'm gonna keep it as 4. It's more than fine. Yeah. And now another thing that we need to adjust, and the last thing, interpolation, precision, and just bring it down a little bit. You can see if I bring it too much, start like looking too like polygonal, like those look like those angles. We need to keep a soft, yeah, transition. Yeah, keep it like that more or less. Yeah, even squares, we don't want to have like something like that super dense. Yeah, even squares, that's a good practice. Okay, when we are happy with those settings, few settings that I show you, you have more, please explore all of them, explore the tool, and you will find multiple ways to do things, but this is for keep it simple, so I'll show you the more relevance. So now when I'm happy with this, I like always to work undestructively. I don't like to just uh, destroy my workflow, so I need to go back all I need to just redo the whole work. Yeah, I try to keep it easy. Yeah, I like select that sweep. Yeah, and then sweep and then just Control D, I duplicate it. What is happening? The duplication that I created doesn't have the connection of the node. It's just a copy with the settings I created. And we need to adjust it. We don't want to be overlapping or weird uh, spaces. I want to make it clean. We can move it. We can select right click edge, then just select the edge and move it around. But in this case, we're going to use, if we go to modeling toolkit, soft selection. Soft selection allows to move some part of the mesh with a gradient. You can see, yeah, a gradient selection. In this case, I like to keep it surface, right? Keep it surface, because if you have volume, you can see it selects all around. Yeah, I like to keep it surface. It selects just the surface, the surroundings, but following the surface. Another thing that you may want to work a little bit is with the settings. When you increase the number, basically increase the selection. So for my case, 40 is more than enough. Probably for you, it will be different number. Just play around and just make a soft selection of that. Yeah, let's just go back to 40 in my case, and now you can just move, just selecting that edge loop. Basically what I'm doing, just double click on the edge, select the edge loop, and now I can adjust it a little bit better. Now you can see I can just move every single part of the curve and adjust it. It's not the only way you can do this, just to keep it simple, okay? Just to show you how you can do it, and then you will find multiple ways to work. There are another way that you can just move the curve around and it will be adjusting the position. But just to keep it simple, let's do it like that. Yeah, you see I'm playing with these just to have like the selection that I wanted and just to clean it. Okay, so now we have the mesh in the position that we want. Yeah, and we're gonna fake the detail. In this case, you can see it's just polygonal shape, nothing really fancy. It doesn't look a rope at the moment. What we're gonna do is just fake it. The first thing you want to check is the UV editor, and you can see the UVs are connected already. Yeah, imagine if you have an object that doesn't have UVs, this workflow doesn't want to work. You need the UVs, and the good of using create sweep mesh, basically you have those you have that UV ready for you to use. Okay, so we're gonna create a material just for this test. Yeah, right click, assign new material. Obviously we're using Arnold from the default, Arnold shader, Arnold surface. So now you can see when we select that, it has a material assigned. I like to change the name always. Rob matte. So now is the material. You can just connect color, yeah, connect specularity, and so on. In this case, we're gonna play only, and the displacement is gonna fake that detail from the rob detail. Okay, how we do that? We need to go, to make it easier, we need to go to the hypershade. Yeah, there are multiple ways to do this thing, but I want to show you one that allows you to see what is happening. Otherwise, it's gonna be just clicking things and you don't know what is happening. Select the sweep mesh, the final one. We click the inputs of the mesh. We're gonna have this node. Then we select that node and we bring the material. And the material that we create, you can see raw material is connected to this node. And when we click this one, we have all the settings for color, specularity, roughness, and whatever. And then this one has the material connected and displacement. Yeah. So in here, we're gonna use displacement math. Click here and allow us to create a file connected to that. We click and you can see now is connecting to this another node. We have the material node. Now we have the displacement node. And also we have a file that we need to connect to this node that's going to be inside this node. Okay. We go to the file, we go to the folder, and we bring all the material that the texture that I'm going to use with the displacement. Yeah. And obviously we need to do some adjustments. We go to this node that controls the repetition of this image. We're going to bring it up. We're going to bring it to 10. It's multiplying 10 times this image inside this UV space. Yeah. So if you have a lower number, you will see how the details is less. But I want to make some test. Yeah. Another thing that we need to do is select this object from the viewport. Now move this on the side, and we go to sweep shape mesh. Yes, sweep shape 2 in my case. In my case, probably the number will change. We go down, we go down, we go to the Arnold section. We go to subdivision plot card. And here you can add 3 subdivisions. That's more than enough. And then, yeah, let's keep it like that. How to map as well. Okay, now it's ready to check. Arnold, light, physical sky. Now you see we add a light in my scene, Arnold render. Now we can see the rope in there. Yeah. Even if my character rope is low topology, the detail is displaying. Yeah. So now what we can do to enhance a little bit more is just to play with these settings and bring the let's put the scale to 2 to see what's happening. You can see gets the scale of my details a little bit bigger. Yeah, so that depends on the image basically. Color space, I like to keep it raw. Let's change this one as well. I like to keep it here, connected just the R. Yeah, you see, fix a little bit some issues. Yeah. So now you can see, super friendly, super good. Now this curve, you can play with this curve around. It will be easy to animate and rig, and the detail will be there. But obviously you need a little bit more work, right? You need texture, you need everything. And where I was talking before, you have some control of how dense that detail is. Imagine if I press 5, it duplicates just 5 times, you can see. If I put 8 repetitions of that texture, you can see it gets a little bit more dense. Yeah, things to play around. And if you want it more dense, probably 15. They're gonna be super dense. Yeah, you can see. This is the way to do.